What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, one of the biggest myths that's out there when it comes to Wilt haters is this myth that, he always got shut down by Bill Russell. That's one of the prevailing myths that's out there, that whenever he went against Boston, Bill Russell would shut him down and Boston would win 90% of the time. And, against 6'6" midgets, only time 6'6" would be midgets, I guess. And then they always say white midgets at center. Anyway, it's only against 6'6" white midgets that Wilt would dominate, but against Bill Russell, who, by the way, will be undersized by today's standards, would shut Wilt down. Boy. But these same people, right? These same people will praise, say, Karl Anthony Towns, even if he gets shut down by somebody like Draymond Green height, who is 6'5". But anyway, this thing about Wilt being shut down by Bill Russell, let me say this. Bill Russell is one of the great defenders of all times, and in comparison to other players that guarded Wilt, he did a good job. Okay? He did a good job. He did hold Wilt Chamberlain to under 50% shooting as far as their careers is concerned. That's under Wilt Chamberlain's career percentage of 54%. So he did do a good job in comparison to other centers. But as I've maintained, oftentimes the difference in those games, and a lot of those games in the regular season or in the playoffs, those series and those games often were decided by 7 points or fewer, even when you consider the fact that Bill Russell played with all of those Hall of Famers, right? But oftentimes, the game was not decided in the front court, but in the back court. Boston always had an advantage, not just over Wilt's teams, but other teams in the backcourt. Whether it was the duo of early on of Bill Sharman, who was the Steph Curry of the 1950s, if you want to call him that, and Bob Cousy, who was the Kyrie Irving of the 50s, or later on, Bob Cousy and Sam Jones, one of the great clutch players of all times, or later on, K.C. Jones, Sam Jones, and John Havlicek at the three. Those are the guys doing all the scoring. But when it came as far as the match between Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, it's not what you think. Okay? First of all, they played against each other 142 times. In those games, Bill Russell averaged 23.7 points and 14.5 rebounds. Now that sounds remarkable, except for the fact that in those 142 games, Wilt Chamberlain averaged 28.7 points and 28.7 rebounds. When you consider that Russell averaged 22.5 points per game, 22.5 rebounds per game, and he only averaged 14.5 against Wilt, that means that Wilt's size and athleticism was giving Bill Russell problems. He was controlling the boards. Also, even though I say that Wilt Chamberlain's field goal percentage went down from 54 to I think like 49%, Bill Russell's plummeted from 44%, which was already low, to 37% going against Wilt. All right. Wilt Chamberlain's career high 55 rebounds was accomplished against none other than Bill Russell and the Boston Celtics, November 24th, 1960. Wilt had a 62-point game in Boston on January 14th, 1962, and had 6 other games of 50 points or more against Bill Russell. The most Bill Russell ever scored against Wilt was 37, and he had only 2 other 30-point games. When the Sixers beat the Celtics in the 1967 playoffs, Wilt averaged 22 points, 32 rebounds, and 10 assists against Bill Russell. In the clinching Game 5, he had 29 points, 36 rebounds, and 13 assists. So, this notion that Wilt Chamberlain was shut down by Bill Russell, not true. Slowed a bit, yeah. Any great defender is going to slow down a player. Olajuwon slowed Shaq down in 95, but he didn't shut him down. But there were also games when Wilt Chamberlain simply destroyed Bill Russell. So let's cut the bullshit on that one.